Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Review. My name is David T. Allen, or Super Dave 817 if you would like. If you want to see more of this content, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Review. I am David Allen. So I am coming to you this morning with a bit of clarification on something that I said on a Tory Kind of Mood on Friday, August 15th. I was invited to contribute to their episode on Friday, and I came up with a topic about utilizing parts and accessories and different things that have already been released and future using it for future reference to possible items that might come out. And so I was a contributor on that episode since I suggested that topic to a Tory Kind of Mood. They invited me on there to talk about that, along with a lot of other people on a bunch of other different topics. Future subgroups was talked about. The HasLab, the future of HasLabs was also talked about. So I really first want to say thank you, Travis Moody, for inviting me on a Tory Kind of Mood on Friday. It's been a show that I've wanted to be on for a while. We've been trying to find the right episode for me to join Tory Kind of Mood. And so um, we were talking about different aspects of the previous releases of characters and what that future those possibilities could be for those characters, parts, weapons, accessories. um, as an example, the Twilight Guard, where they had that cape, the red cape, and that Hasbro was testing the waters on that design to see how that would work for possible future Destro, Iron Grenadier Destro. So that's the examples of the type of stuff. And the Glenda, who had the laser rifle and the accessories for Flash. So we know we're possibly going to get a Flash in the future. Now, this Destro, Iron Grenadier Destro, and a Flash have not been released. There's no name only leak names for those. It's just speculation at this point, and there's a lot of information that goes around the industry and a lot of speculation. One of the sources of information that uh, you can glean some of these things from is a lot of vendors get a heads up as to what products are coming out so they can order and they can put their numbers in and to see what would be the best sales for them. Companies like Walmart, Target, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Hot um, GameStop, and then other independent vendors like my LLC that I go to, Acme Comics and Stores, stores like my friend Dan Thomas's store, the Zone Comics, and other online vendors where they order stuff. They get a heads up as far as reference numbers, and sometimes if they ask, hey, what is this reference number, sometimes Hasbro will tell them what that reference number is. And I'm not going to give you any of those names, but there are numbers that are put together and there are lists that have been put together, and you can sometimes find on the internet some of this information. And there are other fellow podcasters and shows that use this information and they report on it. Sometimes the information is erroneous, sometimes it's factual, sometimes the factual information changes and there's alternative versions of the factual information. So I didn't report it, but I commented on a list last night uh, for Dusty version uh, 2 with Sandstorm that I had gotten that information from the Full Force Chris McLeod Diagnostic 80. And I did get it from Chris McLeod. Um, but I want to clarify where that information came from. First off, it was in January, and it was from a Reddit report. Chris said in the his report that he got it from a Reddit um, uh, list that was going around, that was making the rounds, and he wanted to report on that list. Now, that list, I have referred to that list several times on Toy Talk that I do on Sunday afternoons with my co host, um, Terry Ruin and Dan Thompson. And we've referred to that list. I've been told that that list is not accurate, it's not 100% accurate, but it has been pretty close, that list. I would say maybe 68% of the list has thus far been revealed and name only dropped, and we've gotten some of those figures already, in fact. Um, so um, let's see if this is a picture. I'm not sure if I can get it to show you, but there's Chris McLeod, Patrick Stewart, and there's the list on there that they are reporting on. So I'm going to go over this list, and you can determine whether you agree with this. Like I said, I've talked about this list before on my show, talked about it also on Toy Talk as well. But this is the list, and I'm going to leave it in your hands whether you believe this or you think this is erroneous or you don't agree with it or whatever. So I'm going to read the list off. All right. It says figure and vehicle. Crankcase with Striker, Destro and Despoiler, unknown new female with Polar Battle Bear, figure and animal, Dusty version 2 with Sandstorm, Sand Scorpion with Robot Scorpion, retro carded figures, Retro Flint, Retro Covergirl, Retro Bat, Retro Televiper, Retro Green Shirt, Retro Breaker, Retro Zorana, Retro Major Blood. Then it goes on to 2-packs. 2-packs. Night Creeper and Leader and Budo. 2-pack Blackout and Bomb Strike. 2-pack Grand Slam and Laser Viper. 2-pack Cesspool and Unknown. Then it goes on to single release figures. Iceberg, Night Viper, Muskrat, Lifeline, Monkey Wrench, Iron Grenadier Baroness, Iron Grenadier Voltar, Iron Grenadier Darklon. And then it has another smaller list of characters that are going to be single releases as well. It's version 4 Snake Eyes, Hydra Viper, Airtight, Royal Guard, Sergeant Flash, Psych Out, Firefly version 2, Mainframe, Pythona, Annihilator, Fast Draw, Frag Viper, Cyber Viper, and Galodulus. Now that is the extent of the list that was reported on by the Full Force Chris McLeod. And I want to reiterate, it was a list that was going around on Reddit. So this is not a list that Chris created. It's not a list that he announced. It was a list that was going around on Reddit, and he was reporting on it as a report type of situation. Now, I've found that this list has been very, very close to a lot of the releases. So I've used some of this information in Toy Talk, and I've talked about this list several times. So I felt very confident that version 2 Dusty with Sandstorm was coming out, and I said that Chris McLeod reported on this, but he was reporting on the Reddit list. So he was not reporting that this figure was coming out. He had no credible information, to my knowledge, that this figure and Pet 2-pack was coming out. He was only reporting on the list itself. Now, I have the utmost respect for Chris McLeod and the Full Force. I've been following him for going on 9 years. He's been the inspiration and the spiritual kind of mentor to my content. I've always respected him. We've met 3 or 4 times. I've never had any kind of issues with Chris McLeod or the Full Force or Patrick Stewart. And I want to apologize if I put out reported information or said information on a Toy Kind of Mood that shed any kind of negative light on the Full Force or made any kind of false uh, um, declaration for their show. That was never my intention. I've only wanted to be honest, give the information, where I got the information, and how I got the information. I did not mention the Reddit part of it, and I apologize. That was on me. I should have been more specific with that information. So, watching that, if you watch that episode, um, hopefully this clarifies where I got that information and where he got that information, and the fact that there's no 100% corroboration on that information. It's speculation. It's fans hoping and desires and wants of certain things based on what has been put out into the internet, into the world, into the ether. Once that stuff gets put out there, it gets moved around and uh, uh, combobulated, and it can get through multiple different ways, and you just don't know where that stuff comes from, whether it be rumor, whether it be fact, or this or that. And like I said before, there is a way for some of this information to become fact based on the vendors releasing information. And I also have my inside sources as far as information, so on and so forth. I could tell you different things, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to keep the confidence of my sources. And Chris McLeod does the same thing with his sources. And so he doesn't reveal that stuff until Hasbro reveals it. And to a certain extent, I do the same thing. And it is speculation. And so I want to make sure I'm clear and clarify that information and where that information came from. And again, I apologize to Chris if I put any shade on him for saying that. That was not my intention. I respect Chris and what he does. And so hopefully that will clear that up. And again, if you have any questions, you could reach out to me. I'm very easy to find. David T. Allen on Messenger if you have a question or anything like that. And so I hope that in the future we'll be able to make a better decision on that information if I get that information in the future. And I will be very hesitant to reveal that information the way that I've revealed it. So again, I apologize to Chris, the Full Force, and Toy Kind of Mood for also putting that information on that program. That was not my intention to do something that upset people. So thank you, and we will see you next time.